Hey everyone, how's it going? So in today's video we are going to look at and rank the best Banjo-Tooie and Banjo-Kazooie levels in celebration of the dynamic duo being added to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So let's get right into this. I've got the good old tier list website up. We've got S tier to D tier because I don't think any of the games really belong under the D tier. So let's start with the D tier levels. So the levels I'm not the most fond of. So I think, yeah, Clanker's Cavern is going right in this level, right in this tier. No one really gets to Clanker's Cavern and they're like, oh, I can't wait to play Clanker's Cavern and swim underwater and drown all the time and explore a murky, boring fish. It's not a terrible level, but you know, it's never a level I look forward to. So also, what else am I going to put in the D tier? I'm going to put Glitter Gulch Mine. It's probably one of my least favourite levels in Banjo-Tooie. It's big and open and boring, has a terrible minigame against the canary, and the shooting level where I always get lost. It's a bit like Clanker's Cavern. I get to this level and I'm just like, you know. It does have a cool boss though, and the music's great, but it's not my favourite level, unfortunately. Also, the transformation where you turn into a dynamite and you hurt yourself by blowing yourself up is just a bit lame, but you know. So what else goes in the D tier? Pterodactyl Land. I was not a fan of this level. When I was a kid, I always got lost and struggled to get to the top of the mountain. Because to be honest, once you get to the top of the mountain, it's much easier to collect all the jiggies. But you've never been a big fan of this level. You do get to turn into a T-Rex, but you don't really do much with it. You open some doors and that's about it. It's just a level that's too big for its own good, unfortunately, and it's a little bit boring. So going into the C tier levels, which are, you know, the levels that are just sort of middle of the road, not great, not bad, and I think this level perfectly fits in this tier. So Mumbo's Mountain, it's the first level of the game. It's not terrible, it's not amazing, it's just sort of in the middle, very easy to complete. There's not a lot to it, not a complex level, but you know, it does the job. So another level I'm going to put in C, and this might surprise a lot of people because a lot of people hate this level because they get to this level and they end up getting lost for 3 hours. And I was like that when I played Banjo-Tooie as a kid. I hated this level. But playing it as an adult recently, I actually quite liked this level. The first hour or so is annoying because you can't find any jigsaw pieces or any items you really need. So the first hour you're just like trying to sort the level out in your head, figure out what's going on. But once like things start clicking and you've discovered, okay, I need to go to this place to get this item, to go here, it's actually quite a cool level and I enjoyed it. Probably one of the most complex levels in the series, but you know, once you wrap your hand around it, it's quite an interesting and enjoyable level. So, what other levels belong in the C tier? Rusty Bucket Bay, for sure. Another level a lot of people hate, and I think it's because they get to the machine room and die or they drown underwater. But to be honest, you're not actually under the water in this level or in the water that much, so you know, I've never minded this level. When I was younger, me and my family used to go on lots of trips abroad on like a big ship, so yeah, I've always liked this sort of level, and it's fun to explore. You know, not the most visually appealing level, but you know, I don't mind this level. It's not terrible. So B- levels, I think, because I don't think any of these levels belong in the C tier. So I'm going to put Bubble Gloop Swamp in the B- tier. Something that always annoys me about this level is the minigames, like the Mr. Vile minigame inside the crocodile does my head in, and the Tip Top level as well. I always mess up that level. But you know, it's a fun level to explore. There's some nice platforming. Yeah, it's a decent level, but it's not quite like a good level. Like a level that I would say is quite good is Treasure Trove Cove. So it's the level after Mumbo's Mountain, and it's a fair bit more complex. You learn to fly in this level. There's an actual a boss fight sort of. There's treasures to collect, and it's a harder level to explore, but I think it's a bit more rewarding than Mumbo's Mountain. The only thing this level doesn't have going for it is there's no transformation, but you know, So another level I would put in the B tier is Mayhem Temple. I think this is a much better introduction level than Mumbo's Mountain. It just feels a bit more epic. You're exploring this really cool Aztec temple. It has an awesome theme. There's the level where the area of the map where it turns into a shooter like Doom, and it's awesome. And yeah, it's just a lot more fun to explore this than Mumbo's Mountain. It's a bit more complex, and I think it sets up the tone for Banjo-Tooie quite well compared to Mumbo's Mountain. So I've always been quite a big fan of this level. Would I put any of these in beer in the B tier? I think I would. Hailfire Peaks. You know, if this level was just the fireside, it would probably go in B+ or A. But actually, should it go? I think it should. Yeah, B+. I think is a bit more fair. I do think it's a little bit better than both of these levels. The fireside is awesome. The ice side always feels a bit generic and boring, especially compared to the other snow level in the game. You know, it's not terrible, but the fireside is so cool with like the big Colosseum area and the little flying torches flying about, and it's just there's a big cool fire dragon at the top. I've always loved that side of the level, and the ice side isn't quite as interesting, but you know, it's a fine level, I guess. So I think after this it probably goes. No, actually, Cloud Cuckoo Land can go. I think it's I'm putting it here. Gonna put this in B+. It's a strange final level for a game because it's so random and weird. You know, you'd expect an epic fire level to be the last level, but instead we have this weird level in the sky with like a giant trash can and a block of cheese and a castle made of jelly. But I guess in another way that makes the level stand out. It does of course have the most horrible minigame in the world with Canary Mary, where you have to mash the A button, and I could not do that as a kid, so that did make me hate this level. But if you look at it from an objective point of view, it's a pretty decent level, but not quite good enough to go in the A tier, unfortunately. So moving into the A tier, I'm going to put Click Clockwood. Similar to Cloud Cuckoo Land, it's a really weird choice for a final level. It's like a weird, it's like a weird forest, grove, grassy area. You should expect a more unique level to be the last level in the game, but it is the most complex level in the original Banjo-Kazooie because it's the same level 4 times but in different seasons, and all the actions you do in the earlier seasons will change how the future seasons turn out, which was amazing for a game made back in the late 90s. Not many games did that. And also you get the same musical theme of the stage 4 different times, which is crazy. Again, not many games did that at the time, so always got a lot of time for Click Clockwood. It's a great level. So the other level, I'm going to put this on A tier. Jolly Roger's Lagoon. Probably my favourite water level in a video game. Mostly because you can actually swim under the water and you won't drown because you can give yourself infinite air. And the town level, the town area of the level just dripping with like charisma and character and atmosphere. I just love this level, and the music is probably my favourite song in a Banjo game. It's so good. And then when you actually go underwater and explore Atlantis, and it's so much fun to explore, and you turn into a submarine, and it's just such an incredible level. Really, one of my favourite levels from Banjo-Tooie. So I think I'm going to put Gobi's Valley in A tier. It's not quite good enough to be in S tier. The one thing I'm not a big fan about this level is it's just completely yellow. Like in the colour scheme, you look at all these levels and, okay, apart from maybe Bubble Gloop Swamp, they all have sort of slightly contrasting colours. But this level is just completely yellow and that's it. But you know, it's such a fun level to explore. You get the running shoes, which is one of the best power-ups in the Banjo games. You get to explore like a maze and all these cool pyramids and solve puzzles, and it's just a level when I get to, and I'm like, yeah, this is a good level. So I think now we move on to the S tier, and I'm going to put Witchy World. not in A tier. This is going in S tier. Like, it's just such a cool concept for a level. Like the world's worst run theme park. I don't know. It's just the perfect level to play in a platformer when you're a kid, because you see all these cool attractions. Like there's the big top 10. You know, there's the flying saucer ride. There's the dodgems. When I think of this level, I think of fun. Yeah, it's a great level. Probably my favorite is my favorite Banjo Tooie level. Yeah, love that level. So these two, it's hard to choose between these two, but I'm gonna put Mad Monster Mansion just behind Freezeezy Peak. I do love myself a spooky level, and this is one of my favorite spooky levels. You get to explore, you know, a big haunted mansion, although it's more of a small house, or a big house, sorry. You get to explore this creepy church and play the piano and turn into a pumpkin and get flushed down a toilet, and the music's amazing, and you get to, you know, kill ghosts. And there's a area with a Ouija board. It's just such a cool level, and the atmosphere is just so good in this level. And also it's probably when the game starts getting slightly challenging, but you know, it's still manageable, whereas a lot of the other Banjo-Kazooie levels are quite easy. But this leads me to my favourite level in Banjo-Kazooie. Honestly, when I think of Banjo-Kazooie, I probably think of this level. It just reminds me of a lot of nostalgia. Like when I was a kid, it was on Christmas, and this was the level I got to, and I was like, wow, there's a Christmas tree, there's a snowman, you can fly, and there's the sledge race, and it's so much fun to do. You can light up the Christmas tree, collect presents. It's just, when I think of Banjo-Kazooie, I think of this level, and it'll always have a place in my heart, this level. I love it so much. So the other areas that aren't actually on this tier list on the website are the overworld, so I'm going to put what's it called? Isle of Hags in B+. It's a good overworld, and I do like how all the levels are interconnected, but doesn't quite have the charm of Grunty's Lair from the first game. I really liked how in Grunty's Lair all the areas where the actual worlds were located were in really cool stylized areas. Like Mad Monster Mansion was in a graveyard, Freezeezy Peak was in an advent calendar, Gobi's Valley was in like a big desert area. I mean, it makes no sense in terms of the layout of the place. Like, why would it be designed like that? But I don't know, as a kid, it was just so awesome. So I do prefer Grunty's Lair compared to Isle of Hags. So yeah, I think that's the tier list more or less done. If you agree or disagree with me, feel free to let me know in the comments. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you very soon. Cheers, guys.